Hello. Today we continue our conversation about 7 items that we should reconsider, including in our everyday style in 2026, because these designs are mentally outdated and no longer align with the current aesthetic context. The first item is front tie cardigans. These are usually crochet knit cardigans with a fully open front, fastened with small hooks or tie strings. Most of these designs are either cropped or fitted to the body. The issue with these cardigans does not lie in the cardigan itself, but in what I call a timestamp. This style was worn very frequently by young girls, especially teenagers, in the late 2010 seconds and early 2020 seconds. Because of that, when placed in today's context, especially if you are over 40, they tend to look visually outdated. Classic cardigans, whether buttoned up high or featuring a distinctive neckline, remain a timeless choice. They are easy to wear, practical, warm, and suitable for many age groups. If you want to invest in a cardigan for 2026, choose designs that are simple, clean, and aesthetically sustainable. The second item is denim culottes, also known as wide-leg cropped jeans. The issue lies in the combination of a very pronounced A-line silhouette and stiff denim fabric. The stiffer the denim, the more exaggerated the shape becomes. When a silhouette that already feels somewhat childlike is amplified by rigid denim, the overall look becomes heavy and lacks refinement. In the context of 2026, this combination is no longer convincing. If you ask me about culottes made from classic tailored fabrics, the answer is different. They are not at the top of the trend list. However, they can still be styled in a modern way if you choose carefully. We move on to the third item. These are oversized sweaters with fully open backs or with ties, bows, or structural details holding the garment at the back. These sweaters were worn very frequently in the past. Once again, they carry a very clear stamp of the previous decade. At the present time, they are extremely difficult to style in a way that looks modern. The main issue is the contradiction in the design message. On one hand, the sweater aims to feel warm, relaxed, almost like loungewear. On the other hand, the back is designed to appear sensual. These two messages conflict with each other, and in contemporary fashion, this kind of contradiction is no longer highly valued. Modern style today is very clear and conceptually consistent. If you want something warm, choose a sweatshirt or a chunky knit with a clear, structured texture. If you want something sensual, choose an open design from the start. Items that try to stand between these two worlds often look outdated in 2026. We continue with the fourth item. These are knitwear, sweaters, or even jackets with peplum details or ruffles at the hips. This type of design looks like a small flared skirt that has been attached to a top. These styles were very popular about 20 years ago. So far, they have not made a comeback. The fifth item also revolves around cardigans, but with a very specific shape that is difficult to name precisely. These are cardigans with bat-wing sleeves, very wide through the body and arms, but tightly fitted at the wrists. This silhouette creates an odd, unbalanced shape that feels heavy. From the perspective of 2026, such cardigans look completely outdated. What is surprising is that they still appear in many fashion brands, even those considered trend-aware. Every time I see this shape, I genuinely struggle to imagine how it could be styled in a modern way. We move on to the sixth item. I call this category when symbolism is stripped of its meaning. I am referring to symbolic prints such as hearts, stars, moons, and bows. These symbols are repeated excessively and printed on clothing as mass-market patterns. As a result, the symbol loses its meaning and becomes merely a cheap decorative element. The contradiction lies in the fact that it is a symbol, yet completely empty in content. This contradiction does not suit a mature style with depth. In fact, this is not exactly an outdated trend. I would not recommend these items to anyone aiming for a refined, grown-up style, regardless of age. These prints are most often associated with children's or teenage fashion. For people over 30 and especially over 40, they are very difficult to style elegantly. We move on to the 7th item, which is jewelry. Specifically, statement necklaces that are thin at the neck and gradually become thicker toward the chest. This was once a style of necklace that I loved very much. For a long time, almost every outfit I wore included this type of necklace. Because of that, I clearly recognize its timestamp. About 15 years ago, these necklaces were everywhere. They were often made of artificial stones, plastic, or a mix of different materials. The issue is not the material, but the overly familiar and repetitive shape. When a design is too tightly tied to a specific period, it becomes very difficult for it to feel fresh in the present. That is why I recommend avoiding this type of necklace in 2026. If you are still here watching at this moment, it means you genuinely care about dressing with intention, not just following trends. And that is the foundation of sustainable personal style. Remember, fashion is not about wearing the right trend or avoiding anti-trends. Fashion is about how you curate, how you combine, and how well you understand yourself. If this video helps you see more clearly what to let go of in your wardrobe and opens up smarter choices for 2026, save this video so you can revisit it when needed. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I'll see you in the next video.